Hi, so let's get into module one. Module one is obviously you've identified is building rapport. I think rapport is crucial. We're going to go through a number of other things, other modules in the course, where we're going to look at questioning skills, listening skills, different communication styles that people have, and a number of other modules. So why is building rapport so important? I've got to tell you, I think to achieve goals in life, probably more so than anything else, we need cooperation. We need to be able to get on with people. We need to be able to influence people to do things for us to do things for them. And I think rapport is all about cooperation. I think it helps. It's an essential skill that we need to acquire to be able to achieve success in anything that we can do. Whether that's you're a salesperson, you're a customer service person, you need to engage with customers. You're an employee, you need to get the job, you need to get the gig, you need to be interviewed. Obviously, you need to try and build rapport with whoever is going to interview you, or for your initial job, or for your promotion, or even your last steps. You need to build rapport pretty quickly as well. And hopefully the person that's doing the interviewing or the other person on the phone, a priority for them is building rapport as well. People like putting people at ease, and that's certainly something that's going to help. So that's why I think building rapport is critical in everything that we do. So what we're going to do in this the course, as you know, is made up of 6 different modules, and each module has 3, possibly more, lessons in each one. So in the building rapport, first thing we're going to look at, and it might come as a bit of a surprise to you, is body language. What's your body language when you're on the phone to people? We'll go into that in more depth. Another thing that you will do it, you might just know it's called conversational offers. So conversational offers is something that's really going to help you build rapport with people you're talking to. And the last lesson in this, we'll look at what's in a name. What do you call somebody when you're speaking to them on the phone? How often do you use their name? What's it like to get somebody to use your name? How can you get somebody to use your name in that call to help build that rapport? And that's going to be critical as well. So, lesson number 1, as I said, body language on the phone. Now, I've done a lot of work in contact centres and sales offices, large and small, where there's been 6 people in it or 6,000 people across the world. And a lot of people just get on the phone and they don't really think about things. What hopefully these skills are going to give you is an understanding of what actually goes on in your subconscious. If you can understand it, you can do it more often, more frequently. And some people have said manipulate the situation. I don't think it's manipulating the situation. I think it's just a matter of engaging. What can we do and how can we actually use it? Now, I can often walk onto a contact centre floor, a sales office. And often I can turn around to the sales manager and go, tell me that guy over there, or that girl over there, what's or girl or woman or lady, what's so special about them? I bet they're pretty good on the phone. And they went, how do you know that? You can't even hear them. You don't know who they are, so you can't look at the sales board to see what they're doing. But it's often down to posture, if they're sitting down, but also if they're going to be standing up. If I see somebody standing up and they're walking around talking to a customer, they're using your hand gestures, you're engaging with them, you're smiling, you're nodding, I tend to identify that as somebody who's good with communication, getting the best out of that conversation. Something that I certainly see is when people stand up, they've got more energy, there's more emphasis into what they do. They sometimes count things off in their hand, even though they're on the phone and the customer doesn't see it. What it does as well, it allows you, especially after lunch when you might be hitting the slumber zone, it also allows you to get more air into your lungs, which means you get more oxygen into your brain, which means you can think faster. You've all probably heard the expression, think on your feet. That's where it comes from. So think about how much more engaging you can be when you're on the phone, if and when you stand up. I wouldn't say you stand up all the way through the call, obviously. There's certain things you need to do. You need to be in front of the computer, you need to be inputting data, you need to be capturing some information, you need to be sourcing some information for that customer. But standing up certainly helps. If you need to sit down, make sure you get good posture. Make sure you're sitting up. Make sure you're correctly positioned. This isn't a course in ergonomics, but make sure you're sitting up suitably when you're on the phone to people. Try to get your head out of your hands. I have seen people doing this on the phone. I've walked in, their hands locked, their jaws locked against their hand, and they basically mumble their way through the call. Does that look like an engaged person when they're speaking on the phone? No. I've even seen guys like this. Guys who are sitting with their head on the table talking to customers and mumbling, and think about what that does to your throat and the amount of air getting into your lungs, but also when you're trying to project, is that coming across as well? I've seen it all. And I know I've seen the good, the bad and the ugly. I'm not saying any of those people on the screen are the good, the bad and the ugly, but I can certainly identify it. You may well have heard the expression, smile while you dial. Now I've got a Scottish accent, so my aisle doesn't match up with my aisle, but smile while you dial. You've heard of people saying, you can hear a smile down the phone. You can do, you can certainly hear it. But you need to make sure it's engaging, because if you're getting told that you need to smile every time you make that phone call, rather than being a natural smile, a natural engaging smile, you're going to turn into, I need to force this smile out, and I really grudge having that conversation with you. It doesn't work, so make sure it's genuine. And a couple of things you can do with that. Before you take your call, think about, okay, fine, what are my objectives for the call, what I'm looking to do. Think about something that doesn't get you laughing, but it certainly lifts your spirits a wee bit more. And when you're ready to press that button or dial that number, just think about your posture, your smile and your engagement. Now, many people will be certainly aware about when they go into a bar or a restaurant or a cafe, and you can identify, especially people that people watch. And what they will often do is you can identify a couple and a relationship between a number of people, and you can see who's engaged and who's not engaged. What they're often doing is they might be leaning in towards each other. This is an outside photograph. A couple leaning in towards each other. Their knees are leaning towards each other. Their heads are in similar positions. Their hands are in similar positions. They're engaged. I don't know if they are engaged. I don't know what he's given, and that's what the big smile is for. But they're engaged with each other. And that's what you call mirroring. And you might come across things in body language. Have you ever looked at body language, mirroring and matching? I know you might be saying, what's this got to do with a telephone call? I'm going to get to that in a minute. This is called mirroring. If you put a mirror across there, it looks like a reflection. One's reflecting the other person's energy, enjoyment, engagement, whatever it might well be, but also mirroring their body language. They're leaning in towards each other. That's great. Something else that's a rapport builder is what's known as matching. The difference in this photograph as opposed to the previous one, they're actually matching each other's language. Ignore what's going on from the waist up, but look at from the waist down as far as the crossing their legs. They're doing what the other person's doing, pretty much exactly, with the position of the left leg is over the right knee. Both of them. Now, yes, they are in rapport with each other. They may well be engaged with each other, but they're certainly not as engaged as these people. So you've got these people matching. What you can also find, and you can certainly find it when you people watch, what you can certainly find is where there's a mismatch. And this is a classic photograph of two people sitting side by side, pretty much back to back, and their knees are pointing in the opposite direction. They look as if they're ready to get up and go. And what that, as I say, is called is mismatching. So you get mirroring, like a reflection. You've got matching, which is good, but not the best. And you get mismatching, where there's a complete disconnect. Maybe somebody that you're speaking to on the phone is being very, very formal, but you're being very informal. You're not matching their style. We're going to look at this later on in the module about voice and the vocabulary that you use. So we're going to get to that in a wee while. But you might be saying, what's this got to do with when I'm on the phone. They can't see me, but you can certainly hear it. Just in the vocabulary that people use. If somebody says something and you repeat back exactly what they've said, I'm looking for a double flange conflagrator that goes anti-clockwise. And you reply going, oh, you're looking for a double flange conflagrator that goes anti-clockwise. It just sounds weird. You're not using your words, you're using their words, which is good in some cases, but later on in the call, and I'll come to that later on as well. But ideally what you want to do is take their words, think about it, think about how it impacts you, your business, your organisation, whatever it might well be, and paraphrase it. Turn it into your own words. It demonstrates more than just hearing what somebody's saying. It demonstrates that you've understood what somebody's said. If you don't, you're just basically rhyming something off that's parrot fashion. Somebody says something, you say the same thing, and you go, I know, I've just told you that. You shrug your shoulders. Something it's not part of this course, but let me just throw this one in for free. There is a time to use matching what somebody said, to repeat what somebody said, as opposed to paraphrasing it. If you're getting to the end of the call and you say something like, Mr. Customer, you said earlier on that you were looking for a double flange conflagrator that goes anti-clockwise, use those words back to them. And that demonstrates that, yeah, he's got it nailed. He knows exactly what I'm looking for. So hopefully you can see the difference. Paraphrase at the time, which is mirroring, obviously. But at the end, match what they've said. Say exactly word for word what they've said when you're recapping and going to tell them what you're looking for. So hopefully you got some tips as far as that is concerned, as far as building rapport, building initial rapport with somebody, especially, and we're going to look at it more about making a great first and lasting impression on the next module, but we'll get to that in a couple of days. The next thing we want to look at is lesson 2, and lesson 2 is conversational offers. I guarantee you have done it, you maybe just not called it conversational offers. Let me tell you where I got this. I travel around quite a lot. I'm often, back in the good old days, I'd jump on a plane, I'd jump on a train, and what I do, I get from my house to the airport, the train station, with my taxi driver, my local taxi driver. And what he would do, he would always go, where are you off to this week, Stuart? Is it somewhere nice? Have you been there before? When was the last time you were in Belfast? What was it like down in Bristol? Where are you? And I'd go to a number of places. I've done work in Russia, I've done work in India, Istanbul, all over Europe. And this guy always asks me where I'm going, whether I've been there before. Why does he do that? Because 20 minutes later or half an hour later, when I'm getting out of the taxi, how does he benefit from this? He gets a nice tip. And that's certainly something that he's looking for. That's how he wins business. That's how he increases his revenue. So, what can you do as far as that Jim does for me? And just another thing, what he does, I'll go to concerts quite a lot. And I'll often get a taxi from 10 miles outside of Glasgow into town. And if it's him or any one of his colleagues, he's the best at it. He'll go, who are you off to see tonight? And I'll tell him who the name of the band. Oh, I've heard them before, or I've not heard them before. Or my kids have told me. I like a lot of young stuff. And he'll go, oh, I've heard of them before. Have you seen them before? Yeah, I've seen them a couple of times. Oh, okay, what was the best gig? What was so good about it? Have you got their last album? What do you think of their latest single? Oh, that's that stuff. Why is he doing it? Because he wants to go into my agenda. He's purely focused on my enjoyment on that call. He is on his customer's agenda. And as I say, when I get out of the taxi, he gets a tip. And I usually send a nice wee message back to the office as well, so that I get him again. It's great. Now, there might be some things that you can do when you're on the call. Good chance you're not going to ask them about concerts or where people are travelling their business. But there's certainly some things that, it's what you call leakage. Often at the start of the call, somebody will say, yeah, I need to get this sorted out. I need to get this on order. I need to check up on this. Because at the weekend, I'm going away. I'm going on holiday. Or I'm going to my daughter's wedding. Or I've got a party to go to tonight. Or whatever it might well be. And what you can do is you can pick up on that. Oh, you're away on holiday. Where are you off to? I'm going to Greece. Oh, lovely. Whereabouts in Greece? I'm going to Kefalonia. Have you been to Kefalonia? Yeah, it was great. It's the first time for me. I was there last year myself. And I found this lovely wee taverna down beside the port that serves the best calamari you'll ever find. If you go in, tell them Stuart said hi. You might remember me from last year. Think about what this is doing to your rapport. It's constantly building your rapport and taking it up to the next level. It's a great thing. Conversational offers, and that works fantastically well to build those relationships. One thing it also does, it allows you to call back to that at the end of the call. When you finish the call, it needs to be genuine, not fake. It needs to sound as if you're genuinely interested. But it gives you something to call back to at the end of the call. Thanks very much. It's lovely chatting to you today. The order's gone in. It'll be with you on Friday. What are the next steps? It'll be doing this, it'll be doing that, it'll be doing the other. Fantastic, lovely. Have a fantastic time out in Kefalonia. Enjoy your daughter's wedding in St Ives or wherever it might well be. These things are gold. And the good thing is, most people don't do them. So what can you do to build those relationships? The next thing I want to look at in the module is lesson number 3. What's in a name? How important is it to use somebody's name? What are the likeliest chances of somebody using your name in the call? It's a rapport build for you to use their name, but also it's a rapport build if they use your name back. That's now building a relationship. But what often happens is people phone people, they don't expect the person on the phone, especially if it's they're dialing into you and you pick the phone up and you go, hi, it's from, how can I help you? They've missed your name because they're not expecting you to answer, maybe and hopefully so quickly. So if they've missed your name, just in case they have, if they come back and go, hi Stuart, the reason for the call is blah, blah, blah. That's absolutely fine. They've got your name, nailed it, they've used it, brilliant. However, if they haven't picked up on your name, they're not going to say anything. So it's your opportunity to say to them, just in case you missed my name at the beginning of the call, I'm Stuart, I'm calling from blah, blah, blah. And what I'd like to do today is ask you some questions about whatever your sales pitch is or whatever your conversation is or whatever the relationship is with the supplier or your colleague or whoever it might well be. That is what I call a double name handshake. You're saying your name at the beginning, they say their name to you, and you say their name, you say your name back, just in case you missed my name at the beginning of the call. It's Stuart and I'm phoning from such and such. I'm not a betting man, but I would probably bet you about 10 pence that they're going to go, oh, hi Stuart, thanks very much. I was hoping you were going to give me a call today. Or thanks very much, I was about to give you a call, Stuart. You see the use of those names? Double name handshake, it's a cracker. Any good thing again? Not many people use it. So just think about the differentiators that you're now making when you're engaging people. Something else to think about as well is how often do you say somebody's name on the call? What do they want you to call them? I'm not a very formal guy, but if I have to phone in somebody, oh yeah, can I take your name? Yeah, my name's Stuart Harris. Good morning, Mr. Harris, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I hate that, I'm just not formal. I'm not that formal. However, if they assume that they can call me my first name, oh, I got you off. I'll go, right, okay, my name's Stuart Harris. Oh, hi Stuart, what about... I didn't give you permission to use my name, so ask. Yeah, my name's Stuart Harris. What would you prefer me to call you? Stuart or Mr. Harris? Say those words. What would you prefer me to call you? First name, second name with a bit of formality. More likely than not, people are going to go for first name. It's a relationship build. So that's just a wee tip. Something else as far as names are concerned. It's just don't overuse it. Use their name, but don't overuse it. Don't wear it out. I've heard calls where people don't even use the name at all. But I've also heard calls where they maybe been coached. You need to say that customer's name a wee bit more often. One time I heard somebody use a customer's name, I think it was 17 times. How did I know? Because when I realised I started doing it, I started doing a wee 5-bar gate, and another one, and another one, and another one. By the time the call finished, 17 times. Now, what I would say, the 3-name rule. Use their name at the start of the call. Use their name at the end of the call. Thanks very much, lovely talking to you today, Shuggy, whatever. But use it conversationally during the call. Say to them, so Jim, what are you looking for as far as that's concerned? Do you want it red or blue? So Doris, do you want it Monday or Tuesday? Just drop it in casually. It's just a nice way to re-engage with them, just in case you get that. So, there we go. Module 1, tick, done. So what I'd like you to do, while this is still fresh in your mind, is print off your workbook if you've not done so already, or update it, and just think about some things. What are you taking away from this module, first of all? Lesson number 1, building rapport. What can you do to build rapport, more rapport with your customers? Number 2, consider your body language when you're on the phone. No, it's not. So there we have it. That's module 1 done, ticked. So what I'd like you to do is get your workbook out, or your notes, or whatever it is that you use, and just go through and think about what are you taking away from today. What could you do more of? What could you do less of? And what could you do differently? So think about some of the things we talked about. We talked about building rapport, obviously in general. That's 20 minutes of some great tips, even if I say so myself. So thinking about things like your body language when you're on the phone, your conversational offers, and how and when you use a customer's name. That's the 3 big lessons, but what did you take out from each lesson? And write down maybe 3 pointers of each lesson. And once you've done that, in a day or so you'll get your next video through. So try and put these things into practice. That's why I'm not asking you to skip straight into the next module. I'm going to drip it out to you. Every couple of days you're going to get these, so you can practice from one module to the next module what you're going to do. So that's us for this module. I look forward to seeing you in the second module, where we're going to be looking at creating a great first impression and make it a lasting impression. And we're going to go into that on the next module. I look forward to seeing you again. Take care.